žuvų šukelėm galvų šukuoju. Hi, hello, I'm Daiva, and I'm one of the storytellers at the Village Storytelling Center, and I'm making this video from home. Today I'm going to share a Lithuanian story, an old legend, and this is my take on it. And after the story, I will offer some activities for you to try out. So, I have everything prepared. My instruments, music instruments are ready, my seashells are ready, and the sea waves are ready because the story takes place at the sea. So, let's begin. Long, long ago, people did not have such a skill as singing. But this legend will tell us that the power of songs was luckily passed on to us from the most wonderful fish that ever lived. At the bottom of the Baltic Sea, there used to stand the most magnificent castle, and it was made out of amber. Walls out of amber, towers out of amber, roof out of amber, and staircase out of amber, and door out of amber, and inside furniture was out of amber, mirrors out of amber, chandelier out of amber. Every single piece in that castle was made out of amber. And the owner of that castle was Jūratė, the sea goddess. And she was the most wonderful fish that ever lived. She had long tail with scales made out of amber. And here on the top, she had a human head and face and two eyes, green eyes with twinkling amber sparkles. And the nose and the mouth. And this mouth was producing the most wonderful sound. The sound of the song. And she had long swirly whirly hair made out of amber, of course. Oh, she was beautiful. Every day Jūratė had a duty to go up to the surface and to sing a devotion song to the most powerful gods of all, the god of thunder. His name was Perkūnas, a man of quite bad temper. His face was red and his hair was black and black, long bushy beard. And because he had very bad anger management habits, he often was having bad digestion and bad stomach problems. So of course the song of Jūratė was like a medicine to him. And Jūratė would go up and she would sing her most favorite song. I have peace like the river, I have peace like the river, I have peace like the river in my soul. I have joy like the fountain, I have joy like the fountain, I have joy like the fountain in my soul. I have love like the ocean, I have love like the ocean, I have love like the ocean in my soul. I have love like the ocean, I have love like the ocean, I have love like the ocean in my soul. And Perkūnas would come down and the weather would change. Well, meanwhile, on the coast of the Baltic Sea, there used to be a village. And you know what? That village stood on the big sand dune, and nothing grew there, neither grass, neither trees, neither crops, only sand. So because of that, all people in the village had to go to the sea fishing. And in the village there used to live a young man, a fisherman, and he was handsome, he was strong, and he was positive. And that was the day when he was in his boat in the middle of the sea, catching some fish. And it was perfect day for the fish. His nets were full of fish, and soon his boat was filled up to the very brim with fish. So now he gave his thanks to God, and he turned his boat to go back home, when suddenly the weather changed, and he saw up in the sky 2 clouds appeared, and they were going towards each other, and they hit each other. And then there was this wind rising from both directions, and also attacking each other. And soon big waves as warriors rose up. And Kastytis realized that he was no longer just in the simple, calm sea. He was in the middle of the battle, and the waves attacked each other. Splash! And his little boat went up and fell down and broke into 2 pieces, and splash! The boat went under the water, and splash! Kastytis started to sink down deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and there was darkness. To the place where this little boat had crashed rushed Jūratė. She saw fish in the nets, so she entangled the fish. Some fish were dead, so she gave new life to the fish. And the fish swam away free and life again. And then Jūratė saw the man lying at the very bottom of the sea, and she went to see the man, and she looked at his face, and the face was so handsome, and she could see that the man was strong. And something cracked inside her heart, and she felt the warm feeling. That would be such a waste, just to leave that man lying here dead, she thought to herself. So she carried him to her amber castle, and in the castle she gave him the new life. And Kastytis opened his eyes, and he saw the most wonderful creature, and 2 hearts met. And they fell for each other. And Jūratė was singing her songs, and Kastytis was telling her his stories from the land. And they enjoyed each other's company so very much that Jūratė totally forgot about her daily duty. And that was already the time for Perkūnas to get his little music relaxation. But there was silence, and the surface was clear. Jūratė, shouted Perkūnas. Nothing. So he took one of his axes, and he threw the axe, and the axe hit the roof of the amber castle, and the chandelier crashed down on the floor, broke into 100 of pieces. Holy crab! Jūratė remembered about her duty, so she swam up into the surface, and she started to sing. I have peace like the river, I have peace like the river, I have peace like the river in my soul. but her song was lacking devotion, was lacking feelings. It was empty. There was no way calming and relaxing. What's wrong with you today, Jūratė? Oh, I'm sorry, Perkūnas, but I'm very busy. I really have a special guest in my castle and I have to take care of him. Special guest? Who is your special guest? Oh, just a simple man, a fisherman from the village. A man, a mortal, in the goddess dwelling? That's a breach! And he took his axe and he threw another axe and hit that castle, and another axe and hit that castle again, and the castle started to shake. And it was destroyed. And there was now only the big pile of amber at the very bottom of the sea. Oh, Perkūnas, calm down, relax. Please leave the man safe and alive. It would be such a waste of such a beautiful energy. And you know what? My heart loves him. I want to stay with him. I want to live my life with him. Your life with him? And where are you going to live? You don't have your castle anymore. Well, that means I have to go and live with him on the land. You are going to live on the land with a man? So that means you will be no longer the goddess. You will be just a simple mortal woman. And you know, there will be no riches, no divine powers. And one day you will get old and you'll die. Is this what you want? And Jūratė thought a little bit and said, well, yes. I would rather live short but happy life in love than a long, everlasting, eternal life with a cold heart. Your wish is granted. And there was a big storm in the sea that night, and in the morning on the seashore there were two people lying down. It was Kastytis and Jūratė. Jūratė looked down, and instead of her tail she saw two legs. She got up, and with the help of Kastytis she started to walk. At the beginning she walked slowly, and soon she was faster and better at it, and soon she danced and she loved her new legs. And when they came back to the village, there was a huge joy, and there was a wedding. And after the wedding of these two, children appeared, and the life was happy and full of love. But well, you know, Jūratė actually was now a simple woman, and she didn't have any riches. There were no mirrors, no chandeliers, no castle. She lost her divine powers, and her face was getting wrinkled, and her hair, instead of amber color, turned white. But one thing she still had with her. It was the power of songs, and she passed those songs to her children, and they passed to their children, and they to their children, and children to their children, until those songs and the skill of singing reached us. And these days, if you would go for a walk on the beautiful sandy beach of the Baltic Sea, you might find little pieces of amber which you can turn into lovely jewelry. But also, if your heart suddenly has this wish to burst into a song, that means that the power of singing was passed onto you from the most wonderful fish that ever lived. And that's the end of that.
Now I invite you to make some musical instruments, the same I used during the story. In the story I used some percussion instruments made by the children in the story squad at the village, so a huge thanks to them. Here you can see a rain stick or a waterfall stick. I have used it to get the sound of sand. How do you make it? This one is made from the empty kitchen roll tube. But you can use an empty crisp tube like this one. I covered it with masking tape just to get rid of all colorful elements. Cover your tube with water-based glue like PVA or use the glue stick. I took a sheet of decorative tissue paper. You can use colored paper, tissue paper, crepe paper, or you can paint the tube. I took 3 pipe cleaners, attached them together and rolled into a spiral. One end of the spiral I attached inside to the bottom of the tube, another to the top. Pour inside whatever grains you have at home at the moment. I am pouring some rice and lentils. Then you can use a lid or masking tape, any sticky tape to cover the top, and some tissue paper and colored pipe cleaner to decorate. And enjoy your results. Shake it, rattle, and roll it. Another instrument I had was an ocean drum made from the balloon with grains inside. Take a balloon, fill in a little bit of grain and blow up the balloon. Make a knot and you are ready to go, making the sound of waves. And the third idea is to make shakers and drums from empty tin cans. Children decorated them with paint. We put some masking tape on the edge to prevent cuts. Then stretch a balloon over the top of the tin like a drum. Fix it with a sticky tape or elastic band. So now you're ready to go and create some sounds with your shakers. Or you can use chopsticks as drumsticks and experiment with some rhythms. Enjoy creating your own music and singing along.